Okay, so I've probably tried to make this video like 50 million times at this point. I don't want to be doing it. I suffer from post traumatic stress, and this is actually something that is very difficult for me to do. The Black Dot campaign, I found out because my wonderful boyfriend posted something on his Facebook that he shared this campaign. And I read it and immediately realized I needed to say something. I, for probably since 2007, have fought to have a voice. The Black Dot campaign is trying to give women who don't have a voice by telling people if you can't say something because you're being abused and being watched, if you put a black dot on your hand, it tells healthcare providers and police officers and law enforcement that you're stuck in a situation and you're voiceless and you need help. The Black Dot campaign did not personally help me. The YWCA is what I owe everything to, where I'm at in life and everything. They've done a wonderful job. And I got on my feet. I got out. I made the crossover from being a victim to a survivor. And I understand the Black Dot campaign is trying to help women do this exact thing. However, the Black Dot campaign took my voice, and that is not okay. There are many companies that have pages on Facebook and social media pages that are on blast all the time for anything. People are always going to hate you. And big corporations and companies and stuff know these things. So they have people that, comment on their pages and say negative things, even celebrities do, and you're taught to just ignore it because that's just the way things are. I started a petition to say how I felt about the Black Dot campaign, which my belief is if you are a survivor and you put a dot on your hand, or if you are a supporter of helping women get help, put a dot on your hand. That's a great idea. It promotes awareness, and awareness is a wonderful thing to have for situations like this. The Black Dot is a horrible idea for safety reasons. It's been publicized all over Facebook and social media and the news and a bunch of different places. And in doing so, it has not just educated the victim, but it has now educated the abuser. And if I had ever put a black dot on my hand, I wouldn't be here. I would be dead. It's not a joke. It's not something these people think they're doing something really great. And, more power to you guys. Fight for a cause that you believe in. But there is so much psychologically behind abuse and being a victim and even being an abuser that if you have not gone to school and you have not studied these things or you have not received therapy for it, you do not understand. There are certain aspects that being a victim, we do not come forward because we fear our lives and our children's lives, and we rely on the abuser for our way of life. Most women without their abuser would be homeless, they would lose their children, they would have no money. These are major issues. If you want to help fight domestic violence, then you need to help fund a program that helps provide women with transportation, shelter, and just a way out. If I had ever put a mark on my hand and my abuser ever found an ink mark anywhere on my body and this campaign existed back then, he would have beaten me. He would have said, "You're trying to get away from me, you're trying to leave me." And let me tell you, being a victim and hearing "you want to leave me" doesn't have the effect that most of you think it has. It actually, most of the time, is quite the opposite. If my abuser said, "You want to leave me," sometimes I would sit there and I wouldn't want to hear that. I would fight and say, "No, I want to be with you. You're a wonderful person," whatever. even if he hit me 2 hours prior. It is the mentality that we have, and that is what I mean by complicated. The reason I did not get away from my abuser as quickly as I should have is because it took me a long time to realize that I was better. And victims have low self-esteem. So you need to help these women get better self-esteem, get a better image of themselves so that they know they can do better. And then you need to help them have an out. And that is a very difficult thing to do. So if you want to help fight domestic violence, you need to find a program that promotes helping women find these resources. I mentioned earlier the YWCA. It's, forgive me, YWCA, if I get this wrong, but it's a privately funded organization that empowers women. And the program I was in took you in. It was a year-long program. They had a therapist for you, a therapist for your children. There was a caseworker for you, and you committed yourself to this program and signed a contract saying, I agree I will not get in a relationship for a year, I will do these things, my abuser's not allowed to know where I am, things like that. You did the therapy, and they gave you an apartment inside of these buildings that they owned where they did this therapy and all this stuff. So you had your own space, and you lived with other victims. And at the end, if you graduated this program, they gave you a Section 8 voucher. And being in the program, they gave you bus tokens, they helped you find a job, they had computers with internet, they had resources to help you get on your feet. If you are a victim of domestic violence, I urge you to look into programs like this. Call your local Department of Human and Family Services. They have crisis centers, they have ways to help you. If you don't have one of those, you can locate the YWCAs in most counties, and they are beyond amazing. They can help you. The Black Dot campaign actually does not have the resources to help people. It is not a legit thing. If I walked up to any of my friends that were nurses and went like this, and I had a black dot on my hand, they would look at me and go, is this some sort of a religious preference? What are you trying to tell me? Were you coloring earlier? They do not know what this is. My neighbor down the hall is a police officer. If I came into her apartment and showed her a black dot, she'd probably be like, okay, why are you showing this to me? So as of right now, women can be walking into emergency rooms and police stations with their abusers next to them and have black dots, and no one is helping them. The Black Dot campaign had somebody privately message them, and I saw this on their page, and I actually have a screenshot of it, and it's a woman saying she has a disabled child, and this is her situation. She needs help. Where should she turn? They publicly posted this photo. They didn't show her name. They publicly posted it. And let me tell you how dangerous that is. If her abuser saw it, it says the number of children she had, and it says that she has a disabled child. Any woman who matches that criteria is now eligible for a beating tonight. And that is very serious. It is not a joke to post things that people come to you in private to try to confide in you to seek help for. And they didn't even have the resources or know where to send this woman. And that is so very wrong, that if you're not legit, you are claiming you're a campaign and you are taking these requests from women who are vulnerable, you better be prepared to help them. It is a wonderful idea to promote awareness and get donations and funding for organizations that are capable of doing these things, but it is not an okay thing to do for safety reasons, and it can get women killed. This is not a joke. The Black Dot campaign is very, very dangerous, and it needs to be stopped. And like I said before, I think the most inappropriate thing this campaign is doing is that when people who are actual victims and survivors of domestic violence come forward, and we try to tell you our stories, and we try to tell you what we've done, and we tell you our opinion, that if you're in a true domestic violence situation, this is not an option. They delete us, and they block us, and they delete our comments, and that is not okay. If you are a victim or a survivor, you are entitled to a voice, and we need to help you get that voice, and this is not the solution. Please help stop this campaign.